Welcome to K-Drama Recaps, your one-stop shop for all things K-Drama. If you're new around here, just a heads up, spoilers ahead. With that out of the way, episode 2 opens on the ferry boat where Sunja is quietly listening to the other people on the boat gossip and speculate about who Kohansu really is. Some say he works for a powerful man in Japan. An older woman speculates on his wealth, commenting that she heard he can afford to throw away his shirts after one use. It's clear they don't fully understand who he is or what his presence means to their lives. The boat docks, and Sunja observes Kohansu ruthlessly dealing with a young man who clearly hasn't lived up to his high fish standards. As Kohansu walks away and is followed by the girl in the red polka dot dress, Sunja watches and begins to form her own opinion of who Kohansu really is. Tokyo, 1989. Solomon is attending the wedding of the daughter of Katsu Abe, who is a client of Shifley's, the American bank that Solomon works for. He is seen talking to an old childhood friend that once said some pretty terrible things about Solomon's Korean heritage. Solomon has been busy trying to shed the double stains of being the son of a pachinko parlor owner, as well as a Korean dog, and now he has the tie to prove it. Later during the meal, Solomon gets to know Naomi, and they reminisce on their experiences in America when the meal is interrupted by Abe. Tom shows off his terrible Japanese skills,
Lucky desu ne.
while both congratulating him for his daughter's wedding, as well as introducing the newest member of the team, Solomon. Abe's first question upon being introduced to Solomon is to ask him his blood type. Tom is confused, and Solomon has to explain to him that Abe was trying to size him up. Old feelings die hard, and while Tom can't understand why the Japanese and Koreans can't just bury the hatchet, it's clear Solomon has experience dealing with this issue many times before. In Osaka, we see Sunja caring for a bedridden person. This is her sister-in-law Kyung-hee, who is the wife of her husband's older brother. She is ill and wants to pass on, but not before they reminisce about old times and wonder what would have happened if Sunja had chosen to remain with Kohansu instead. We jump back to the young Sunja timeline, where Kohansu catches the fisherman from before trading some fish for tangerines with Sunja. Sunja intercedes for the fisherman, saying that they weren't actually exchanging money, but rather trading her tangerines for the fish that were too small to sell. Kohansu scolds her, asking her didn't she know there would be an eventual deficit in the fish market if they catch the fish when they're too small to breed? To which she responds, they're already fighting for scraps now, so what does it matter? If Kohansu was smitten before, he's in even deeper now. Back to the future in Tokyo. Solomon, Tom, and Naomi are strategizing on how to best deal with the last holdout blocking the hotel deal. After their meeting, Solomon and Tom are walking out, and Tom shares his story of how he ended up in Tokyo. It is Solomon's intention not to let the same fate befall him. At Mosasu's pachinko parlor, we see him teaching a young worker how to adjust the pins on a pachinko machine to tip the scales in the house's favor. It's clear the worker is a little uneasy about the practice, but Mosasu assures him that this is the way things have always been done. We are treated to an exciting little view into the world of pachinko, where the players excitedly stream into the parlor as soon as it's open to buy the little steel balls they would eagerly feed into the machines. It's in this backdrop that we see Mosasu sign the bank documents for the loan that will help him expand his pachinko empire. Back in Tokyo, Solomon and Tom stand in front of the holdout's home. 1 billion yen.
1 billion.
Is Solomon's audacious offer, and Tom is all for it, but Solomon is going in on his own without Tom. Back in young Sunja's timeline, Kohansu wants to send Sunja a message that he's interested in her by asking one of the ladies selling fish to give Sunja a gift for him. Sunja tells her she is not interested and asks her not to tell anyone that this happened. As she walks home on her own, she's attacked by 3 Japanese youth who intend to drag her away and rape her. Luckily for her, Kohansu is not far behind and manages to subdue her attackers and even get them to apologize to her. He escorts her back home on the ferry boat where they share a few words. Sunja notices some blood on his sleeve and asks if he's going to throw the shirt away. He asks her why in the world would he do that, and she smiles, realizing that all the rumors she heard earlier have no merit. Maybe Kohansu isn't so bad after all. They agree to meet the next day at the cove where she offers to launder his shirt for him. Now Sunja is the one who is smitten. In the next scene, we see Solomon walking through the doors of the holdout. It's a Korean grandmother who's holding up the hotel deal. He offers up a 9,000 yen watermelon grown in the shape of a cube. He's trying desperately to work that Korean angle, but he strikes out anyway. He's speechless at the failure of his plan. Back to young Sunja. She is washing Kohansu's shirt that he bloodied while protecting her, and he asks her if she went to school. Sunja becomes defensive, thinking he was belittling her, but instead, Ko takes the opportunity to sketch a map of the world and help her dream of possibilities beyond her life as the daughter of an owner of a boarding house. Sunja notices that Japan is not much bigger than Korea, and when Ko asks her what she meant by that, she shares her realization that Japan's occupation of Korea is not a given. Ko is taken aback by her quiet strength and asks her if he can see her again. Kohansu does come back, and he helps her do the laundry as he shares a poignant story about him accidentally burning a hole in his father's shirt while drying their laundry when he was a boy. They are getting to know each other better, and Sunja clearly can't bear the time she spends away from him. Back in Osaka, the detective Etsuko hired tells her that he has no news to report regarding Hana's whereabouts. Mosasu, however, is quick to notice the detective just doesn't want to be the bearer of bad news, so he sends Etsuko off so he can get down to the bottom of this. On the drive home, he tells Etsuko what he learned. That she was last seen 8 months ago and she was working at a soapland, which is a bathhouse functioning as a brothel. Etsuko is crushed. As a dejected Solomon returns to the office, his phone rings and Solomon is surprised to find that it is Hana. He tells her he missed her, and the scene cuts to the young Sunja timeline. Kohansu meets Sunja back at the cove the day after the rain and invites her to go mushroom picking. Cut back to Solomon. Hana is deliberately being mysterious and not answering Solomon's questions, reminiscing about the past. As she and Solomon play a verbal game of cat and mouse, we see scenes of another budding relationship between Kohansu and Sunja. It's clear that Hana and Solomon were more than just friends, and the same is about to happen to Ko and Sunja. Who knew mushroom picking could be this intense? If you enjoyed this episode of K-Drama Recaps, press that like button and subscribe to our channel as this helps our content get out to more eyeballs. Is there a Korean drama you'd like us to recap? Let us know in the comments below, and hopefully we will cover that drama in future videos. See you in the next episode.